The making of Kosher Nori, a healthy food made from Japanese dried kelp seaweed. The first and only kosher nori made in Japan and inspected at all stages of production by the Chabad House of Japan, under the supervision of Rabbi Binyamin Edery. To make nori, kelp plants are first grown in tanks. Once they reach a certain size, they are transferred to nets. These nets will then be anchored into the ocean until the seaweed is ready to be harvested. Here, Rabbi Binyamin Edery is going out into the ocean to inspect the nets. The nets are anchored off the coast of Fukuoka in Japan. Bamboo poles driven into the sand of the bay keep the kelp-growing nets in place. After about a month in the ocean, the seaweed is ready to be harvested. At harvest, the seaweed is pulled from the nets and inspected for kosherness before any further processing. What is unique about this kosher Mahedrin seaweed is that it is inspected at the time of harvest, before any processing is made. After inspection, the seaweed is held in tanks before proceeding to be washed and strained. The seaweed is then washed and spun into a strainer, which has holes that are 0.025 millimeters wide. This is large enough to let the seaweed through, but small enough to keep any bugs, shrimp, or insects out. From there, the seaweed then proceeds to be shredded and pressed to remove water. This pressed seaweed is then formed into square sheets, where they proceed further down the line to a preliminary drying process. These dried sheets of nori are then separated from their molds, where they proceed further down the line for computer visual inspection. 2 laser cameras placed on the line inspect the nori for any abnormalities in color or texture. After a sorting process, the nori are then manually inspected, then bundled and placed into wooden bins for further drying. The wooden boxes are then placed into specially designed drying cabinets, after which they're ready to be packaged into the final, delicious product. Nori comes packaged in sheets for use in rolling sushi, or shredded for use on top of rice, noodles, soups, or as a topping on pizza. And just how good is kosher nori? We asked these kids to give their opinion.
Kosher nori is the best. Kosher nori oishii desu yo. 食べてください。